yesterday on the Jordy Collada Show, Lee Anderson, Zion's stepfather, who back in the day, remember Jordy got on here when he got drafted to the Pelicans and it made all the headlines where he was like, look, we're in, man. We're in for New Orleans. Well, yesterday, Lee Anderson saying that he expects Zion Williamson to play. He says, look, he understands the decision the Pel staff has to make, not just about the present, but the future as well. But, quote, I expect him to play. If you were to ask Zion, I'm sure he would probably say the same thing. With just a couple of games left, to the magnitude of what's going on in New Orleans, the opportunity to qualify for the playing game and possibly get into a 7-game series, that would be off the charts in the city of New Orleans. That would be a plus in New Orleans. That would be a plus for Zion with the way things are right now. Do I expect him to play? Certainly I do. That's on me, though. That's purely me. I don't think there's anything else that would hinder him from doing that right now. And look, he goes on to say he's feeling great. Speaking for the Pelicans staff and not saying any names, they mentioned to me they're just one player away from where they need to be at. That was enough for me to know that they're putting some stock in Zion, getting healthy and being ready for the long haul. But that's my thing with the long haul. You have to wait on it. The short haul, sometimes when you're faced with an opportunity right now, you never know when you're going to present it with that opportunity again in the long haul or how long it'll be from that time. I'm a guy that believes in taking advantage of the moment at hand. Let's deal with it right now. Let's go forward and see what happens. So, a lot to unpack there. First off, it continues to seem like there is a big disconnect between the Pelican staff and how they're viewing Zion and his current health and versus how the Zion camp is viewing his current health. I do think, look, in all of that, I do think maybe the best point that the Lee Anderson makes there is a fair one in that opportunity. You don't know when it's going to come again. Certainly we think it's sustainable. Certainly we think the Pelicans will be even better next year, right? Like I think if you were to poll people, you would expect this team to be a more 5 through 8 seed, let's say like 6 through 8 sort of seed team next season, right? So they should be in a similar position next year, but you just don't know. Couple injuries, the wheels come off, maybe we're wrong about some things and they're just playing well right now. Then all of a sudden, maybe you don't even have the opportunity for Zion to get into postseason play again. So like I understand wanting to take advantage of what's going on now, but the bottom line with all of this, the one crew we need to hear from are the doctors, right? Like, what are the doctors saying? Because to me, all of this feels like the medical staff is maybe saying, no, we don't want to risk it. You're not ready. But Zion saying, no, I feel good. We're almost in the playoffs. I want to play.
Which I would actually love. I would actually love if that was at least his mentality. That would kind of change a lot of the narrative, at least for me.
Well, this doesn't happen by accident. Right? Like Zion doesn't put that video out of him dunking without the Pelicans' permission by accident. Lee Anderson doesn't go on the show and put it out there that Zion will play this season by accident. These are very clear shots across the bow of whatever Zion's being told. So, like, I feel comfortable in saying absolutely Zion wants to play right now.
Well, look, that part of it is what a lot of people question. A lot of people question that, though, before we saw the video and before, like, any of this has started to come out. So, like, that part of it, I mean, I do like hearing that. Now, I know you're not going to get transparency from a lot of doctors, from a lot of teams, but, like, it would be nice to get, like, an actual update of your star franchise player. Like, hey, here's what he had. Here's the process. Here's what it typically takes to return. Here's our thought process on him. And you could say, well, they don't owe that to you, but kind of sometimes in that franchise star player, they kind of do. They just give you an update, tell you how your star player is doing, because that speculation can be a distraction. And right now, you don't need distractions.
Yeah, you don't.
If you just came out, yes. If you just came out and you're like, look, hey, we'd love for him to play, but he's still 4 weeks out. We just can't push it. End. Over. Done.
It's literally that simple, which is kind of the wildest part about all this. Like, it's literally that simple. So Lee Anderson says, hey, we think he should play. All they have to do is be like, look, we understand Zion's feeling great. He is right on the edge. But right now, from a medical perspective, there is still too much risk for us to make that decision right now, right? We think the long-term future and health is more important. Like, there's a million different ways you can handle it here. I'm just shocked that they're continuing to kind of let it. And I almost feel like this will have to earn a response, right? The same way where after he did the dunk video, all of a sudden the next day he's doing one-on-one drills.
Yeah.
And now he's doing 3-on-3 drills. So in the same way, like, they're going to have to address this. I guess, how do they? Mario, what's your take as host of the Flock Up podcast here in the Guaranteed Podcast Network? What was your take on Lee Anderson's comments yesterday?
Well, before anything, we should point out that the last update from the team came March 2nd, and he said the bone was healing gradually. He will gradually progress to weight-bearing exercise, basketball activities, like you said, out indefinitely. They never said he was out for the season, so the door is still technically open from the team.
But the problem with that is that quote was obviously somewhat of a lie, because that was, a week before the off the backboard through the legs dunk video?
Yeah.
So he was doing weight-bearing activities, like, way before that. Like, I don't know. I just
Point is, they said he was out indefinitely. They never said he was out for the season. So the team never acknowledged he was out for the season. The report from Shams did, which kind of validated that he was not going to play this season. But they never technically closed that door. Now, as far as what Zion said, what Zion's stepdad said with Jordy, I think Jay Madison nailed it with one of his tweets yesterday when he said, we can spend all day discussing somebody's words, but there will be a point of action this offseason. Zion will have a contract extension in front of him, which team will offer him. That will tell us more than anything else. I think Jake hits nail on the head there.
Well, okay, so he hits a nail on the head from a different conversation, though, right? Because that's the idea of, is Zion happy in New Orleans? Will he resign New Orleans? And to be fair, he addressed that as well, saying, quote, talking about the Zion and Pels being cool, quote, but for them to put Zion's family name out there and say we're not happy in New Orleans, that is false information. And it's coming from the horse's mouth. You don't have to look anywhere else for any further information. I'm telling you right now that it's false. So they said they like New Orleans, and here's what they had to say about Willie Green. They smacked a walk-off home run. They did an amazing job. Willie Green has come in and righted the ship. I'm not throwing shade at no coach. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying what's happening right now. He's come in, he's a young coach, and he's evidently he's a player's coach, because the players have really bought in to what he's doing. So he says they're cool with the team, says he's cool with the coach. We'll see on any extension talk. Again, my question to you is, why, or are the Pelicans just going to let this sit? Or do they come out and just close the door? Again, like Jake said, you don't need distractions right now. This doesn't need to be floating around in the ether. Look, maybe by not addressing it, you do leave the door open to him playing. I think
they're not going to address it. I think they're going to kind of hold strong to what their stance has been the whole time. And the team, I don't think they're going to be distracted. They're playing really well right now. They have a lot of motivation. They're in the postseason already without Zion Williamson. I don't think that will be a thing. But what I will say is, I think it's entirely possible that Will Guillory, Christian Clark, the guys that wrote those articles, were not lying. And Zion's family was really unhappy with the franchise after his first 2 seasons, as they should have been. The instability, the firing of coaches, but they really like Willie Green. They really like C.J. McCollum. Things are different now.
That is a very salient point, Mario. That's a very good point. It would be it would be dumb of them to be happy with New Orleans pre-Willie Green, right?
Yeah, Griffin cleaned up his mess. He did not do a good job his first 2 seasons as president, whatever his title is, the lead executive. He did not do a good job. But this offseason, he did. Not only did he hire Willie Green, but he said he was going to get players that were better on defense, had better basketball IQ. You went and got Herb Jones and Jose Alvarado. Yeah. SEC Defensive Player of the Year, ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Oh. How big of a difference have they made? So David Griffin, even him, a little bit more on their good side now, but I think Lee Anderson, Zion's family were unhappy. Those reports were not false.
No,
but
those are good reporters. They're not making them crap up.
Come on, man. Christian Clark, Guillory, those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
But now they are happy with the direction the franchise is going.
I agree, and they should be, right? I agree with them on both counts there. So we're gonna see. I still think like, I'm not like, even if Zion comes back now, he's not gonna play a ton, but if y'all remember just how bursty he can be in terms of scoring, like,
he can play 12 minutes.
That's
total.
What I'm saying. That'd be great. 12 minutes total. Like, you put him in with and you're kind of when you're rotating in your bench, throw him in there. All of a sudden, you get 10 points, 12 points, 14 points in those 12 minutes. I mean, not only is that how you win those play-in games or give yourself a really good chance to, but, like, I don't know, maybe you snag a game off the Suns or something. Like, we'll see. But either way, I know there's a lot of talk about Zion, and it's because those comments yesterday are pretty wild, right? But again, the main story is the Pelicans team itself. And like Mar said, a franchise that has righted itself, locked in the play-in, has the top 10 Lakers pick, and now just needs to finish these 3 games strong ahead of the Spurs and hold it down, because I swear to you, the Smoothie King Center will be the place to be at for that playing game. It'll be freaking awesome.
Hey, real quick, Mario, who does Zion, if he did come back and play 12 minutes, who does that take minutes away from?
Probably Hayes and or Hernan Gomez. A little bit more Hernan Gomez.
Yeah, definitely Billy.
The big man in the rotation, Larry Nance too. He's been playing pretty well.
He has been playing well.
Zion probably takes some of his minutes.
Yeah, but who knows? We'll see if it's going to happen or not. But Lee Anderson definitely giving some juice to the news cycle.
I hope how cool though of a scene would it be like if he just came and played in the play-in game?
I know, dude.
Like he's coming out of that thing like Shane Falco and the replacements, just coming out the tunnel.
I mean, we've been using the Stone Cold analogy a lot lately. It'd be even tighter if he did like a Bret Hart thing and just like descended from the Raptors.
That was Owen.
And the Raptors.
Did Bret do it too?
I don't know. Okay, let's just say Sting. I'll just say Sting then.
Yeah.
If he did like a Sting thing and just like came down from the rafters, maybe even throw some like Pelicans wings on him, that'd be really sick.
I don't know if the Pelicans wings are going to happen, but
that'd be really badass though.
Maybe he'll come down.
The bottom line.
Make it happen, entertainment staff.
If Zion Williamson walks into a room and David Griffin's playing piano, Zion's now sitting down. Okay, he's no longer walking out that room. He's sitting down, and he's letting Griffin serenade him a little bit by tinkling the ivories. Times are good. But what about the New Orleans Saints? How are times over there? Tyron watch continues. Tyron Matthew in that building yesterday. What went down? We'll talk about it. Keep it locked off the bench.